Assalamu alaikum guys, this is me Muhammad Kamar. Welcome back to my channel, and finally today is day 23 of our challenge that we have started for 3 years, and today is our day 23 of this challenge. And finally, in the last video we have completed the basics of Python, and in the last video we have started the advanced stuff of Python. If you have not watched the last video, go and watch the video that we have studied about the lambda function and the lambda function, which is an anonymous function. Actually, we have studied about it very detailed, and then we have studied about the array in Python, and we came to the conclusion that in Python there is no built-in array, but we have to use the list as an array. Okay, so today is our day 23, and we are going to start the object oriented programming. Here you can see that the short form is oops. All right, and yeah, we are going to start this. So let's make a new folder first of all, which is going to be day 23. And finally we are day by day coming very close to our end of our Python series, right? And soon we will start the projects of Python. We will do at least I am again saying that at least 50 Python projects in which we will completely learn about Python. Okay, we will completely practice the concepts of Python that we have studied so far. Okay, so you don't have to worry that you don't know what we have studied, or like you need something for practice. So yes, you do not have to worry. First of all, this is, I don't think so I should make that file as Python oops, as there is nothing practical in this tutorial actually. Okay, so it is just a theoretical tutorial. That what is OOP? OOP stands for object oriented programming. Python is an object oriented language. It means that allowing you to structure your code using classes and objects for better organization and reusability. So in real world projects we use classes and objects, and yeah, this is the reality that you have to use object oriented programming if you want to do something in real world. Okay, what is a class, what is objects, we will study about them in the next tutorial. But for now, just understand that Python is an object oriented programming, which allow object oriented programming language means allowing you to structure your code using classes and objects for better organization and reusability. So what are the advantages of object oriented programming? So it provides a clear structure to program and make code easier to maintain, reuse and debug your code. Okay, helps keep your code dry. Dry means don't repeat yourself in a code. Okay, now allow the fourth benefit or advantage is that allows you to build reusable application with less code. So you will write less code and it will work more and more for you. You can reuse the same code again and again. Okay, you do not have to write the same code again and again. You have to write once and use it again and again. Tip: the DRY, don't repeat yourself principle, means you should avoid writing the same code more than once. Move repeated code into functions or classes and reuse it. Okay, what are classes and objects? So the answer is class and objects are the two core concepts in object oriented programming. Okay, uh, now let's study about them. Class defines when an object should look like, what an object should look like, and an object is created based on that class. For example, you have a class fruit, and then you have objects as apple, banana and mango. Then you have class car, and you have objects as Volvo, Audi and Toyota. Okay, Toyota, I guess I have not pronounced it correctly, but okay. When you create an object from a class, it inherits all the variables and functions defined inside the class. So when we create an object for a class, not from a class but for a class, okay, it is, I guess, a mistake here. So what the object does is that it inherits all the variables and functions that are defined or created inside the class. So in the next chapters, we will learn how to create a class, how to create objects, how to access class members, and much more. So yeah, let's dive into the next tutorial, clicking on the next, and here we got, okay, we got here. And classes and objects, I think that's why I was saying that I should not make this, but I can click on F2, and then you can see I can rename it as 66 underscore classes and objects. Okay, objects, not objects, objects.py. Okay, in Python, it means in Python. Okay, so now I'm going to make the subject of my file as classes and objects in Python, then writing the name of the author as usual. We do there, we do this, and then the date as usual again. Today's date is 18th August and 2025. All right, just hide this, and yes, now today I am using the default theme of Visual Studio Code. Okay, so that's why you can see that it is, the comments are green in color. So this is what the default color of the comments. Okay, so Python classes and objects. Python is an object-oriented programming language, which we know already, we have read it. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. Okay, everything in Python is almost an object, and due to its properties and methods, the methods and properties, the uh, objects in Python contain, due to which Python considers everything as objects. We have studied about them a lot in the previous classes, so you can watch videos before that I have uploaded before. Okay, a class is like an object constructor. Okay, an object constructor, a class is like an object constructor or a blueprint. So you can say that a class is like a blueprint for creating objects. So what is a create, or how to create a class? To create a class, use the keyword as class C, the small c, and then class, completely class. So created a class named my class with a property named x. Okay, so it is just an example. Let's write it as an example, make it as comment, then using the class keyword to make a class. One thing more is here is that you can write the small the class name with small letters like this, my class, but the convention is that you should use the first letter as capital. Okay, so my class, I am writing it as my class, then I have to use a colon, I guess. Yeah, here you can see it does not require you to write the parentheses. Okay, then enter it, and you can see that this is the scope of this class. I am making a name or a property. What is it? Yeah, a property which is named x, and I am storing a value inside as 5. You can think that it is a variable, and yes, it is a variable, but since it is inside a class, so we will use a different name for it. What name we will use for it, we will study it soon, but for now you have just to ignore it, what we call it. Okay, all right, how to create an object? Now we can use the class named my class to create objects. So for my class, I can make objects. How I can make objects? I can make as I can name it anything, right? So I'm going to make to name it as object. Obj is the short form of object, then equals, then name of my class, that I have created a class which is my class also. So yeah, then I have to use the parentheses here. Then I want to access the x of this class, of my class, right, that I have right here, wrote here actually. So how I can access it, I have to use the object that I have created. I can write here anything. Let's say I write here M, let's say I write here P, or anything. Let's say for this time I write just the O, okay? And then I am going to write the O here. Then for accessing this X, I have to write dot and then the X. Here you can see. And now when I print it, let's see what is gonna print on the screen. Here you can see it is 5. So this is how we can get access to the class attributes. Okay, all right. They have created the W3 school has created P1 as object, and I created O as an object. Okay, and then the init method. The example above are classes and objects in their simplest form and are not really useful in real life application. As you can see that they were so much simple that we cannot think of that in real life application. So to understand the meaning of classes, we have to understand the built-in init method. This init method is very important in every class or objects, okay, or in object oriented programming. So all classes have a method called, here you can see that they have written that all classes have a method called init method, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. So whenever we initiate or create a class, this init method will always execute first in the class. Okay, use the init method to assign values to object properties or other operations that are necessary to do when the object is being created. So create a class named person. Use the init method to assign values to the for name and age. So what we are going to do is that first of all I have to just make it as comment. Okay, then I'm going to make a new class, and let's say for more readability I'm going to make this comment here, and then I'm going to make a class as class person, then colon, then I'm going to use it here as I guess define init, right? Yes, this define init. Here you can see that they have written a self keyword here. So this is very necessary, we have to write it always, and then the variables we want to create, we have to create it after the self keyword. Okay, self is a keyword, you have to write it always. Then I'm going to make the age. Then here to remove this pass, and I have to write the self dot name equals to name, then self dot age equals to age. Okay, what is this self actually means, we will study it if they have not mentioned in the ahead tutorial, then I will explain it to you, don't worry. Okay, for that. Okay, so here you can see that self dot name equals to name, self dot age equals to age. Then make an object for my person and give it with some values like the name and age of the person, and then printing the name and the age of the person. Okay, so first of all I have to create a new object for my class person. I am going to make it p1, and then inside it I'm going to just store my class, then giving it value as Muhammad, and then the value for age is going to be, let's suppose 17, and then I'm going to print it as print the name of the person. So p1, come on, p1 dot, and then first of all we have to write the object, then dot to access the values that are inside the p1. As we have stored the person inside p1, so it means that everything that is in person is inside the p1. So I have wrote the p1, then dot, and then anything that I want to access from p1 I have to write it here. I want to access the name, and then I want to access the age also. Okay, so this is how we can access it. Now I'm going to run it, and here you can see that the name has been printed and the age is also printed on the screen. So yeah, that's it. Note that the initialize or init function or method, it is called method actually, is called automatically every time the class is being created, is being used to create a new object. Okay, then the str method, the string methods controls what should be returned when the class object is represented as a string. If the string of method is not set, the string representation of the object is returned. Okay, so what they have right here, the example, the string representation of an object without the str method is like this, which we have just done. Let me just print, or what we can do is that just make it as comment and giving some space here. All right, let's write this as comment here so that it will be more easy for you to understand. And then okay, make a class as class person. I don't know why the p is not working correctly. When I click it, when I press it, actually define initialize self. Okay, then I have to write the name here, then the age here, then self dot name equals to name, then self dot age equals to age. Okay, then I'm going to make a new object as p, let's say this time p2 equals to person, and here I am going to again give it some values as Muhammad and then age as 17, and then I am going to print this time the p2. I don't know why it is not working correctly. The p2, all right, run it, and here you can see that it is writing the main person dot person object in a code which I don't know what it means, but let's see what it is going to represent to us. Okay, the string representation of object with the str method. So class person, everything is same. Here we are using a defined string self, and then return the f string as self dot name, then into brackets self dot age. Okay, let's see what it means, what it is gonna do. Before doing anything here, I'm going to make it as comment, and then again make it as comment, and creating a new class person, then colon. Then I am going to define initialize. Okay, let's make it as name age. Okay, then self dot name, sorry, name, then self dot age equals to age, and then I am going to make define one more as string self dot. Okay, then return here is return f string, then self dot name, then inside brackets self dot age. All right, making a new object for this as person, and this time again I'm going to give it some values as Muhammad, then 17, and then print p3, and then let's run it. Okay, this time it is printing a Muhammad is 17 years old. Okay, So yeah, this time it is printing the p1. Just like I have used a string method, so it is now printing it. Okay, create methods. So you can create your own methods inside objects. Okay, methods in objects are functions that belong to the object. Okay, so you know that we, in the videos that I have uploaded, many times I have used the word as method. So these methods are actually functions, but since they were created inside a class, that's why these functions were called as methods. So a function that we define inside a class is called method. Okay, also you got the point. Let us create a method inside in the person class. Okay, so this time we are going to make our own function. Insert a function that prints a greeting and execute it on the p1 object. So let's make it, but before I have to clean it. And for this I need comment. First of all, class person, then inside it define initialize self dot name comma age, and right here is self dot name equals to name, self dot age equals to age. Okay, then again I'm going to define another function. As this time I'm going to define my own function. So my function, then inside it I'm going to just write it as self. Then self means that this self will represent these things. Okay, don't worry if you are thinking so much. So this self is very necessary. I hope so I am correct. Yeah, of course I am correct. Okay, then print this as f string, then inside it uh, is welcome, or how are you, I guess. Hello, my name is. Okay, so okay, hello, my name is, and then inside it I'm going to write it as self dot name. All right, making a method for sorry, an object for it, for the class person. Give it some value as Muhammad, then comma 17. All right, then print what, print print nothing, but this time we are not required to print it, but just to write to access the function. Okay, this time I'm going to write the p4 dot my function and run it. So for methods we are not required to use the print function, but for attributes we are required to write the function. Here you can see that it is writing that hello, my name is Muhammad, which I did not wrote here, but you can see that it is accessing this name. Okay, all right, so note the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class. Here they are talking about the self parameter, which is a reference to the current instance of the class and is used to access variables that belong to the class. So this is what I was talking about, that self is necessary parameter or necessary keyword. You can say that we have to use it inside the class if we want to represent something. So what this self keyword do is that this represents this name, this age. Okay, so if you use the self here, it still represents this name and this age. All right, if I write here and I am uh, let's say self, not slice but self dot age then I write years old. So let's see what is we are going to get on the answer. And here you can see that it is accessing the 17 also, which we have written here for this age, but it is accessing it from here. That's how we can write, we can access them by using the self keyword. Okay, so it is very necessary, and actually this self keyword points towards this name and towards this age. Okay, all right. So now we are going to study about the self parameter itself. The self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class and is used to access variables. Variables are also called attributes, I guess, that we create inside the class that belong to the class. Here you can see the variables that belong to the class can be accessed using the self parameter, and it does not have to be named. The self does not have to be named. You can call it whatever you like, but it has to be the first parameter of any function in the class. So if you like use, if you use the word my silly object, you can use the instead of self anything. The self is not, that's why it is not a keyword, it is just a parameter. Okay, so you can use anything here, but the Python developers use the self word, that you can say that it is a convention, so you should also use the self keyword. If you want to use another thing, you can use, actually, let's say I use the m for then, but then I will have to use the m here also, then the m here also, then the m here also, then my code is correct. Okay, it is still gonna work, I hope so. It's still gonna work. Okay, it is not working here, why I don't know. So what is it is giving us, m is not defined. If m is defined, here you can see m dot name, m dot age. Okay, let's see what they are going to do. As object is abc, what it means instead of self. So the word, use the word my silly object and abc instead of self. My silly object, my silly object dot name, my silly object dot age. Then okay, here, oh sorry, I am sorry, I can use the m here also, then it is all right, it's correct. And if I run it now, so you can see the answer, it is still executing. Actually the error was here, self. So you can use anything here, but the convention is that you should use the self keyword. Okay, you should not use anything else. You can use, but you should not. Okay, yeah, it is a convention that you should also follow, so for other programmers it will be easy to understand your code, and also it will be easy for you to understand the code that is written by someone else. Modify the object properties. You can modify properties on objects like this. Set the age of p1 to 40. Okay, wait a minute please. Let's say I set the p4 dot age, I guess, yes, then equals to, let's say it is going to be 40, and then I print what, print the let's say do not print this, but and age is, let's say self dot age, and my age is of course, right? Then writing it below, p4 dot my function, running it. Here you can see it is replacing this object, so we can, using the object, we can change the data inside a class. Okay, delete object properties. We can also delete the properties of an object. You can delete properties on object by using the delete keyword. Okay, it will delete this. Then delete object, we can also delete the object the complete object using the delete keyword, the pass statement. So the pass is always the same whenever you use it. So yeah, we are not going to do it again. And here we have completed it, and we are going to do this exercise now. When the class object is represented as a string, there is a method that controls the what should be returned which one. When class represented as a string, then the string method will work. Okay, and I am correct. Yes, of course I am correct. Then the next question or quiz is that what is the correct syntax for deleting an object named person? So we can use the del keyword, then the person, and then yeah, that's it. Submit or answer. Next question. Create a class named my class. So for this we have to just use a keyword class, and yeah. Next. And create an object of my class called p1. So it is very easy. P1 is the name of the object, and then I will use my class and then this. Okay, correct. All right, use the p1 object to print the value of x. To print the value of x, we have to write first of all the object, then dot, and then the x, and submit. Next question. What is the correct syntax to assign a init method to class? It is like that: double underscore, then init initialize, then double underscore, and submit our answer. Yes. Insert the missing part. So first of all we have to write the class here, I guess, right? Close this here. Class is going there. Okay, missing parts to make the code return John 36. John 36 I have written. Then I have to write that define init method, then define, let's say, return self dot name, and then inside it age. So this is going to be string. Okay, all right, it is all right. Submit it, and here, congratulations, you completed the Python classes exercise from w3schools.com. We can share this on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our LinkedIn, but we are not going to, not Instagram, it is Twitter actually. But we are not going to share it right now. Just close it, this exercise, and going to the next tutorial. We will cover these tutorials in the next video, inshallah. So yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe my channel and like the video and share it with other friends. See you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.